but suffer the living to pass.
You will suffer me.
When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of cinder from their graves.
Arrows! No! Fire!
Eve, put your backbones into it! We've broken through the castle is ours!
Far be it from me to pigeonhole necromancy. There's a wide variety of spells in this powerful school that even the most lawful of lawful goods would approve of. But, and you can call me old-fashioned if you want, I think that if you're not using necromancy to raise an army of the undead to conquer the land, you're not doing it right. So today on D6 Damage, we're exploring the profane rites you'll need to command an unliving horde in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Step 1 on your path to Undead Lordship is simple. Can you perform the Create Undead ritual? This ritual is spell level 2. That means that it requires a 4th level character to cast it. However, creating higher level undead requires a higher spell level and a higher character level. Undead of levels -1, 0, and 1 are spell level 2. Undead of levels 2 and 3 are spell level 3, this requires a character level 6. Undead of levels 4 and 5 are spell level 4, character level 8. Undead of levels 6 and 7 are spell level 5, character level 10, and so on. In order to perform this ritual, you must be an expert in either Arcane, Occultism, or Religion. You'll need a skill increase to go from trained in one of these skills to expert. You get your first skill increase at character level 3. Step 2 in this process is deciding what kind of undead you want to create. Your first major choice is simple. Do you want intelligent undead or unintelligent undead? The Create Undead ritual has degrees of success and failure. If you critically fail creating an unintelligent undead, you will be able to seize control of the newly created violent undead with the Bind Undead spell if you can perform it. Some examples of unintelligent undead include zombies and skeletons. Intelligent undead, which have their own wrinkles that we'll go over in a little bit, include ghouls and ghosts. Step 3. Learning the ritual. Every type of undead requires a unique ritual to create. As an example, the ritual that creates skeletons can't be used to create zombies, or ghosts, or ghouls, or anything else. All versions of the ritual are at least uncommon, but more obscure forms of undead will require a more esoteric ritual. Also, some undead that require a specific creation process, like liches, cannot be created with this ritual. So, for DMs, I recommend that you make finding this ritual a side quest, or a personal quest for a player that wants to learn it. Some ways to learn the ritual include apprenticing to a necromancer, bargaining with an evil outsider, or searching a dungeon for a grimoire that explains the ritual. Once you know how to do it and the kind of undead you want to create, it's time to move on to step 4, the ritual itself. You're going to need a few things. Number 1, a dead creature. Casting the ritual takes a full workday, that's an 8-hour time period. As a material component, you will need a black onyx, worth the cost of creating an undead of the level that you want. You need a 60 gold onyx for a level 1 undead, a 105 gold onyx for a level 2 undead, a level 180 gold onyx for a level 3 undead, etc. In addition to the check you have to perform, you need a secondary caster to perform a religion check with you. The DC for a ritual is typically a very hard check for a level twice the level of the ritual. As an example, creating a level 1 undead should have a DC 24 check. Now, let's assume you're making this check at the first available opportunity. I'm assuming that you're making the check with a skill that runs off your highest ability modifier. At level 4, you'll have at most a +4 bonus. Add your +4 from expert skill rank and +4 from your level, and you'll have a total of +12 to your roll. Step 5. You've created a mockery of life. Now what? First, let's look at your degrees of success and failure. Starting with critical success. Critical success is achieved when the result of your check exceeds the DC of the check by 10 or more. If you critically succeeded at the Create Undead ritual, and you created an unintelligent undead, and you don't decide to make it a minion, you can give your new undead one single command that it will pursue single-mindedly. It will then ignore all other commands from you. If the undead you created is intelligent, and you did not make it a minion, it has a starting attitude of helpful toward you, although it is still a horribly evil undead. If you merely succeeded and you didn't create your newly created abomination your minion, if it's unintelligent, it will ignore you and go on a rampage, and or wander aimlessly. If it's intelligent, it will have a starting attitude of friendly toward you. Failure is very simple. You don't create an undead. If you critically fail, you will create a horrible monstrosity that will then try and kill you. Critically failing means you fail the check by 10 or more. Now let's get into minions. If the undead you create is 4 levels or more below you, you can make it your minion. A minion acts on your turn and can take only 2 actions per turn. You must spend an action to command your minion. You can have a maximum of 4 minions at any time, so your undead army is now more an undead entourage. But if it's good enough for an aspiring sorcerer of the 1,000 Suns, it's good enough for you. Finally, let's look at some helpful items you might want to have with you before you make that all-important skill check. First up, Hat of the Magi. This gives you a +1 bonus to your Arcane skill and will cost you 50 gold. Now, if you're going a different route in your undead creation, you could try the Pendant of the Occult. This gives you a +1 to Occultism checks. This pendant will cost you 60 gold. Finally, you might want to think about having a few flasks of holy water, just in case. A level 1 flask of holy water will cost you 3 gold pieces. Thank you for watching the D6 Damage Guide to Necromancy, Part 1 for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. If you liked this video, subscribe to D6 Damage for more class analysis and strategy guides for Pathfinder right here on YouTube. Finally, if you want to take your game further, join the D6 Damage Discord for discussions about all aspects of Pathfinder, from world building, RP, and so much more. The link is down in the description.